Daniel Brooks had worked in his small-town garage for almost 20 years. His days were long, his hands always rough with grease, and his income barely enough to cover the bills. Still, he loved his work. He never turned anyone away, no matter how small the job. One gray afternoon, as thunder rolled in the distance, a sleek black SUV pulled into the driveway. The contrast between the luxury car and Daniel's weathered shop was striking. A woman stepped out, elegant in posture and expensive clothing, then walked to the other side of the vehicle and gently helped her daughter out. The girl, maybe 10 or 11, was in a motorized wheelchair that sputtered as it rolled forward. The mother looked concerned. "We're passing through," she said. Her chair started acting up. We were hoping someone could look at it quickly. Daniel nodded without hesitation. "Let's take a look." He knelt beside the chair, carefully examining the wiring and motor. The girl, Olivia, gave him a curious look. "Most people talk to my mom, not me," she said. Daniel smiled warmly. "Well, you're the client here, aren't you?" Olivia grinned. Her mother, Victoria, quietly watched them, her expression softening. Daniel worked with calm focus. It wasn't the kind of machinery he usually dealt with, but he understood systems, and within minutes, he spotted the issue: a loose connection near the controller. He tightened the wiring, adjusted the alignment, and cleaned out dust that had collected around the motor. "Try it now," he said, stepping back. Olivia pressed the joystick, and the chair moved smoothly. "It works," she exclaimed. Victoria looked relieved. "How much do we owe you?" Daniel shook his head. "No charge." "Wasn't a big fix?" Victoria frowned slightly. "You sure?" He nodded. "Some things matter more than money." Before they left, Olivia looked up at Daniel and said, "You're the first person who talked to me like I'm not broken." Her words stunned both adults. Victoria blinked back tears. "Thank you," she said quietly, voice cracking. She asked for his name and business card. Daniel gave it without much thought. He was just glad he could help. A week passed, and he went back to his normal life. Then a letter arrived, an official invitation to a tech conference in New York City, travel and hotel covered. He thought it was a mistake. But at the bottom, the signature read, Victoria Langston. He didn't know it yet, but she was one of the wealthiest women in the country. Curious and slightly overwhelmed, Daniel accepted the invite. When he arrived at the expo, he was shocked to see Olivia on stage in a new chair, speaking confidently to a crowd. Victoria introduced him as the man who treated her daughter like a person, not a problem. Cameras flashed. Applause followed. Daniel stood frozen. His simple act of kindness had become something far greater than he ever imagined. And as Olivia smiled from the stage, her mother wiped tears from her eyes, proud and grateful beyond words. After the event, Victoria approached Daniel backstage. She looked different without the formal stage lights, genuine, emotional. "You did more than fix a chair," she said. "You gave my daughter her voice back." Daniel shook his head. "I just repaired what was broken, but Victoria wasn't finished. I want you on our team. We're starting a new division designing assistive tech for kids like Olivia. I need someone who understands machines and people." Daniel was stunned. "I'm not a designer. I run a small-town garage," he said. Olivia rolled up beside them, smiling. "You fixed me when no one else would." Daniel spent the night thinking. His heart was torn. He loved his shop, his hometown, the quiet life. But something about the way Olivia looked at him, like he had changed her world, stayed with him. The next morning he called Victoria. "I'm in," he said. Within weeks, Daniel relocated to the city and joined Langston Innovations. The office was huge, high-tech, and nothing like what he was used to. But he brought something no one else had: compassion grounded in real-world experience. His first project was designing a low-cost, customizable chair for children in rural areas. He poured his heart into every bolt and wire. Months passed. Daniel's designs began changing lives. Testimonials flooded in, children walking, speaking, moving freely for the first time. One day, Victoria invited him to tour a children's rehab center where his prototype had just been delivered. As he walked through the halls, he saw kids laughing, racing, even dancing in chairs he had helped design. A woman approached him, her eyes filled with tears. "My son hasn't smiled in 2 years. Today he did, because of you." Daniel didn't know what to say. Olivia stood beside him, beaming. "Told you," she whispered. "You were made for this." Later that evening, Victoria stood watching Daniel work with one of the children, adjusting the settings on a walker. "He's the best thing that's ever happened to this company," she said to her assistant. "And it all started because he took the time to care." Olivia, sitting nearby, nodded. "He gave me more than mobility. He gave me confidence." Daniel never asked for recognition, but he became the heart of the program. His blueprints were framed on office walls. He still wore worn boots and rolled up his sleeves, but to the kids, he was a hero in plain clothes. Years later, at the launch of their 100th mobility device, Victoria gave a speech. Sometimes, life changes not with a big invention, but with a small act of kindness. She pointed to Daniel in the front row. He didn't ask who we were or what we could offer. He just helped, and that help changed the lives of thousands. Daniel stood, modest as ever. The room applauded. Olivia reached out and hugged him. And in that moment, Victoria cried again, this time not from pain, but from pride. The mechanic who fixed a chair had built a future none of them could have imagined. Asterisk.